As above, so below. Ancient wisdom is in your lap. This is Skull Babylon, and you're about to listen to episode 104 of Paradigm Shift Radio. In this consciousness-expanding episode, it was another Share What You Know show in which we play together to practice sharing our knowledge and perspectives about the world around us. Numerous callers joined us throughout the episode as we covered a variety of topics, including some discussion with Tony about the 7 Hermetic principles and how this ancient knowledge can be understood and applied within our everyday life. A reminder that Paradigm Shift Radio is a co-created community show that we invite you and your friends to be a part of, so be inspired by the fact that we are constantly growing and learning together. Continue the conversation further with the people in your community and make the most of any opportunity put in your path. Join us again for future episodes and enjoy the flow. One love. The all is one, and the one is all. Welcome, friends. Once again, this is your good buddy Brendon, aka Skull the Wolf, aka Big Skull, aka Wolf Shield, aka that guy who shows up every week to hang out in front of his computers with awesome people all across the world. And thank you so much for you guys for being a part of this. This is another episode of Paradigm Shift Radio, and tonight this is going to be another Share What You Know show. And the reason for this is because I know the last few times there were still quite a few callers who were left in the queue who we didn't get to. And I think what makes the show really interesting is that it sort of demands that we sort of put together an idea in some form of tangible package and bring that as a gift onto the show to share. So rather than just saying like, hey, let's just talk about nothing, this is more of a show where it's asking you to kind of organize your notes a little bit ahead of time so that we can practically be able to share with each other something that maybe we haven't come across. I mean, that's the whole idea, is that none of us know everything, but all of us know a little bit of something. And if we start pooling together these ideas, we continue to evolve as consciousness, literally through sharing this language, through sharing this dialect. We often think that evolution is just this thing that happens within like the way plants grow and the way that animals grow and the way that we grow, but we often forget that there's also that spiritual and that social evolution which we are constantly bringing into ourselves. And there's some things that I've been listening to some Alan Watts lately, and there's some stuff that I really want to be able to just reiterate, to be able to share, and you'll have to. The time will be right when I'll do it. You'll know. But I mean, some of the things that he was just hitting home with is this idea that we can become very many things as a person, and within each one of us, there already are very many things. So when you ask yourself and you're trying to figure out, like, who am I, there is this choice as to who do I want to be. Do I, as a person, do I want to be sort of like the laid-back, cool guy, or do I want to be like the upbeat, like fun, childlike like person? And I can be both at the same time. But what I'm saying is that in addition to already being those things, it's like summoning those things within yourself. And what I want to be able to help summon within everyone who's listening to this is that innate leadership role that all of us have, that all of us can show, that all of us can bring into our daily actions. And sometimes that leadership role can be something very subtle. Those of you who have been tuned in know that this was actually a pretty big week for us. Not only is today a full moon, which is an amazing thing. This is a super moon. So that's pretty cool. But this is also like just following up on what has been recorded as the largest mass synchronized global meditation, which was done by Deepak Chopra on August 8th, and then we had one scheduled right after that. Myself and Chad Foreman, the ones that we do on the full moon normally, we had one the next morning at August 9th. And of course, you can find those through the facebook.com/Paradigm Shift Radio, and specifically through the Blog Talk link. So through the Blog Talk profile, if you're listening to this, just click through that. You can find all the past episodes. And that in itself is just sort of what I want to be able to help encourage within other people, is to be able to encourage them to really engage on an adventure within their life, to really go on a quest with courage, with like the idea that the universe will throw things at you, but place things along your way that will be like very exciting if you have the eyes to see. Like if you have sight beyond sight, if you are able to adjust your attitude and are able to sort of see that all of it is that reflection of you, is that reflection of the universe experiencing itself as you, so that you can have these fun and unique experiences. We exist as very non-linear beings. That idea in itself is something that it's becoming more present within the consciousness of people, and more so, yes, within people who have somehow in some way or another gravitated towards the show. If you're listening to the show, then yes, like ultimately something like brought you in this direction. And I think everyone is being brought towards like these ideas innately, these ideas that relate to the fact. And I use the word fact, and yes, that is the right word for me to want to use. But this idea that, again, like reality is not as cut and dry as it appears to be, and things are incredibly, incredibly interesting. There is that mystery that exists within this reality, and part of that mystery is the idea that we exist non-locally. We exist, part of ourselves exists outside of time by nature, and through this, the part of us that exists outside of time can see both who we are, where we are on our adventure, and be able to make choices as to what we will bring in to our own adventure. So we're laying out the tracks as we're walking in front of ourselves. It's a very interesting process where, yeah, like we are the membrane between like the past and the present coming into being. It's not like we're just pushing blindly into the future. Like it is culmination, it is so much amazing everythingness that is right here, right now. And we are the chrysalis of that, of the entire being of the universe, to be able to experience it. So just amazing things to just sort of be reminded of each day when you wake up. And if you hear this radio show and my words are in some way helping remind you, then I like, for me, that makes me smile, because that's what I want to do. I want to be able to help people get reboosted through listening to this show. And through listening to this show, it's oftentimes, whether it be a week or whether you're listening to them consecutively, but it's this idea that oftentimes we go through society, we go through culture, and it can be very disharmonizing. So this is a show to help us come back to center, come back to that awareness, come back into that place where we can say like, oh yes, like this, you know, I can't say what it is, but what it is something to just be able to be in awe of, rather than getting distracted by the frustrations of the illusion that sort of present themselves to us. So kudos and thank you to everyone. You guys are doing great. Like you are, like each one of you, you're doing great. You're living on behalf of the universe, and that's a very honorable thing to do. So I encourage you to live on behalf of the universe as much as you can, to follow your dreams. And that's not a cliche at all. Like it really is like this idea of just like bringing in that co-creative nature into our reality. So there's a lot of things that I don't have to say now. I feel like I could, but I'd like to be able to hear from other people as we bring more people onto the show. And again, with this episode tonight, we want to be able to invite you guys onto the show, to be able to bring you guys onto the air to practice sharing some of your ideas to a global audience. There's one buddy in particular, I was planning on bringing him on at the top of the show. I just chatted with him previously leading up to the broadcast, and he had some very interesting things about just kind of like the downloads coming into the earth right now, like through us. So if we don't hear from him now, we'll hear from him later. But we do have another person on the line. We're going to bring on Alex, I think, at the beginning, and he's going to talk to us about some stuff. And in the meantime, just inviting more people to call in. We're looking for more callers to get engaged with the show. Again, this show is our show. So please, if you haven't yet, invite more friends to tune in. Let them know that this is happening. Get engaged with the show on multiple levels. Again, like this show is a stepping stone. This show is a branch. Ultimately, what I want to see come out of this is the idea of like more people sharing on an adventure that I myself set out on as well. And what that means to me is like actually taking the steps towards building a physical paradigm shift community where you are. And that's something we can talk about more later. And of course, you can go to paradigmshiftcentral.com through the main website. But yes, like it's exciting stuff. And ask yourself if it's what you can do for the world right now, because sometimes we ask, how can we change the world? One of the best ways we can change the world is by finding other people who want to help change the world, who are around us, who we're already connected to, bringing them into a place, and then asking that question together with other people and saying, aha, like, here's what I can do, here's what we can do, and then we continue to do it. So we're gonna bring on our good buddy Alex onto the show, and we'll get rolling along. And again, just encouraging and inviting other people to call in. Shout out to everybody in the live chat. You guys are ready for this. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, I know things are sounding a-okay, but if you guys want to give me an 1111, if you're having a good time, that'll be awesome. And of course, feel free to post your profile links into the live chat at any point into the show. And I will say now, just so we're not getting caught up in this halfway through the episode, we will do another button draw within this episode for the free shift buttons if we get another person signed up as a contributor, just like a one-off donation before the end of the show. We've done that in the last few shows, and I'm comfortable with the idea of asking again. I think it works out really nicely, and it helps sustain the future of this show. So we're going to try and put out that intention. We will put out that intention again to invite someone to sign up as a monthly contributor to support the future Paradigm Shift Central by going to paradigmshiftcentral.com/donate, or just going to the Facebook page and clicking on the community tip jar. And literally just a few dollars a month, so $4 a month, so $1 a month, whatever that is to you. If you can afford that, if you want to help support the future of conscious media, you are doing so, and you're helping a person get free shift buttons this week. So we'll check in with that again later. You guys know about that. And of course, you can enter into the draw for the shift buttons at facebook.com/paradigmshiftradio there. Send me a message. Let me know that you're listening to the show. Let me know that you're looking to get in the draw for the free shift buttons, and we'll do that in the later half of the show. And of course, you can always order them through the main website, paradigmshiftcentral.com/buttons. I'll be making some more this week, so I'll have some more fresh buttons ready to send out to you guys so that you guys can use those, so you guys can have fun with those to help build your Paradigm Shift community. And again, like, that's what I want to be able to do. I want other people to build these communities because it's an amazing experience. And if each one of us listening to the show does it, like, literally, I mean, how many people are listening to the show, like, right now is a number, and then in the future, there's at least between, like, 500 and 1,000 of us. And to me, 500, I mean, like, holy crap, that's big. I always measure things for some reason relative to, like, classroom sizes. So I'm like, well, a classroom's like 30 people, so 500 is like the size of a gymnasium. And if each one of us are somewhere else, if each one of us are in a different location, then each one of us can summon that leadership role within ourselves to be able to help bring people together, to be a catalyst, to be a portal for consciousness to be able to find and connect with itself and to be able to grow. And it's very amazing. I know you guys can do it. You guys already are doing it. Keep doing it. You're doing great. Message me on Facebook if you ever need any assistance. We're doing this together. And of course, add me at facebook.com/skullbabylon, and of course, youtube.com/skullbabylon if you're not hooked up with that. So that's all I have to say for now. Thank you again, guys. You guys are doing awesome. Let's bring on Alex, and we'll go from there. And we'll bring him on with the expectation that somebody else is going to call in, and we'll hear from them shortly afterwards. So, Alex, if you're ready, I'm going to bring you on to Paradigm Shift Radio again. He was on a couple episodes ago, so bringing him on again. So, Alex, if you're ready, here we go.
Namaste, everyone.
Hey, Alex. Good to hear you, man.
Hi, everybody.
Cool. All right. Okay, so I'll let you know, Alex, your microphone's a little bit choppy, but that's like with your cell phone, eh? That could just be a reception thing if you want to try.
Yeah, how about, am I getting anything? Can you hear me?
It's doable. It's doable. We can still get the information, and anything that's cut out, it'll just be a chance to practice being psychic. So we'll just go with that. But yeah, man. So I'll ask me questions if you need, or like talk to me if you need to. But other than that, I'm gonna say, like, you're free to step up to the front of the classroom and present your presentation, or just sort of fill us in and just make this as casual as you want in terms of sharing what you know today on the show. So go ahead, man.
All right. Yeah, and I want to start by saying off, how fortuitous we are to be fragmented souls, yet still be able to find others, connect with these people who we haven't physically met, on varying different levels, beautifully diverse pool of life kind of spinning through this existence. Even though we've altered our environment, we've built magnificent cities and industries to support those cities, compromising our water and air. We've grown foods for billions of people and have depleted our soils in our rush to feed, our families. And now we consume processed and fast foods and it's affecting our health. It's not good. It's affecting the health of the planet. But there's solutions. We can give back to our bodies. What was taken away and regain that health. By supplementing our system. I have right here. I've started about a week ago. I started this. It's called the Zeal for Life Challenge, and I mainly just started it for to get healthier. Because by taking that initial step, it's just a powder form. I mix it with water and drink it at the beginning of the day. I feel great. My body's loving it, and it's now craving it. So, even that, how you take vitamins in the morning, or you take your whatever shakes and drinks and stuff like that, and it's real bitter, you don't like it, and your body's trying to reject it. Well, this stuff is just fantastic, and the more you drink it, the more your body is like, hey, I like that stuff, give me more of that. But, it's called the Zeal for Life Challenge, and what it is it's amazing. It's mostly made from, it's called the Natural Rice Bran, and it's from Brazil. All the components are all from all over the world. Like I said, the Natural Rice Bran is from Brazil. It's all natural, non-GMO. You have this aloe vera from all the Americas, the acai berry, it's from the Amazon, turmeric from India, a bunch of other stuff. And what is it, moringa or wafera, known as the Tree of Life. And as soon as I saw that, there's a short video for it, but as soon as I saw that, the Tree of Life, it was one of those synchronistic events, like, hey, pay attention to this. And basically what I'm trying to do, is I'm sick. I'm sick and tired of all the fast food restaurants, because that's pretty much all I've been working at. I'm 22 now, and I've been working since 15 and a half, 16, and I've just been contributing to the unhealthiness of this planet, and I'm with it, I've been doing this, and I've been studying the consciousness things and, things of that sort, chakras and that, since I was 13, and I haven't really changed that much on the outside, even though I'm progressing and becoming more and more enlightened as the years go by. But it's come to a point to where you have to have that action, you take that step. And I think this is something that's helping me, because not only am I allowing, to allow others to have these nutrients just by saying, hey, have you tried this? Have you done this? Instead of taking that handful of medications or handful of pills that you take every morning, drink this, feel better, and, get out of the cycle, get out of that loop. You want to kind of break that. And I think, I came on here to talk about this product, but it's not even that. It's exciting for me, like you said, because, I've been listening to the Paradigm Shift radio show for 2-3 years now. I started on the first couple episodes when y'all were coming out. And I've made certain changes in my life, mostly attitude changes. And that's how it starts, just look at things differently. See how you interact with the world around you, and then see how, if you kind of want to watch nature and be like nature, because nature is just an unfiltered version of pure consciousness, unfiltered version of source being, and you want to get back to that, because that's, who we truly are. We're not meant to be this breath-gasping, heart-pumping, organisms. We're meant to be made of light, and we're meant to be brilliant and create upon a whim. We can create an entire universe just by thinking about it, and that's the things that I want to get back to. I want to get back to the self, being and living and actually doing the things, rather than just thinking about the things. Like you said, I'm done just thinking about it. I want to do it, and I want to see other people do it, and I want to get excited about their excitement, and then I want that to just go into the stars. And, if I can have my own, details or my own input on that, and that's I guess that's the thing that I'm most shocked about, is that I actually do have as much pull as anyone else. I actually do have that kind of leader role inside of me. At the same time, I'm also a follower. I will gladly follow someone into the heavens, but as long as they're leading everyone with the purpose that they know true. And you can see it. You can see these different people, just like you hold true to your own light. You hold true to what you know. And if we can all learn how to hold true to the things that we know, and don't sacrifice any of it. Don't sacrifice a piece of yourself for anybody else, because what they want is what they want, but it's never going to change what you want. And when you figure it out that you need what you want because no one else is going to get it for you and no one else is going to do it for you, then you can come to that realization that you are that leader role. And, I say that with hesitancy still, but you're always going to be unsure about it because we have the choice, because there is the opportunity to choose. This is a free will universe, which means just because you say it's one way doesn't mean it has to stay that way. You can always go back. You always have the choice. And I think at this point, people are starting to notice those little stepping stones, kind of forks in the road, where I could do this or I could do this, and all I'm needing is just a push. So you wait for that opportunity to push, to help you push in the direction that you think that you want to go. But what I'm saying is that by the time that opportunity comes, it's already going to patch you up. So when you get to that fork in the road, I want people to not sit there and think about, one or the other, but think about both options and both as truth, and then just decide which one you prefer.
Yeah. Do you mind if I jump in, or you want to keep going?
Oh no, absolutely. I want to hear what you have to say.
There's a couple things. There's a couple things that came to mind. I'll just hit on the last thing that you were just talking about there, the idea of being aware that there's a choice to be made and considering whether or not to do it. I think it's interesting because, again, kind of what I was talking about earlier with the idea of the universe like putting forth effort from the future back to the past to meet us in the present. There appears to me, this is my way of perceiving it, that there's these windows of opportunity that exist. And these windows of opportunity are like honest pathways that the universe is like putting in front of us without forcing us to go on them. And then you're right, it's this free will universe that creates this very interesting dynamic. So rather than saying like we'll create the path and then we will as a person like walk that path, no, it's like consciousness saying, okay, we'll create 3 paths and then we'll see which one we end up choosing in the moment. But the idea of like understanding that things work with the concept of a window of opportunity, for me, just sort of like gives emphasis to the idea of like striking when the iron is hot, or taking, like being able to make that choice, understanding that like, yes, that opportunity may come around again, but it's not a guaranteed thing as to like where and when sort of thing. So I mean, for me, like it can even just be simple things like connecting with someone on a bus. Like maybe I'll see someone who's sitting across like from me and I'll be like, oh, like I should go talk to them. And for me, it, like this is almost like going back to like before I had shift buttons and everything, and back when I thought it was like a difficult thing to do. But like now it's like super easy for me. But back then I was like, oh, I should really go talk to that person. Like I can't really, whether they had a conscious object on their shirt or something like that, or I just felt some sort of pull. And then there would come that opportunity where it's like, all right, well, like they're going to get off the bus in a second. So, and they're off the bus. Oh, there goes that reality, right? And then it's like, if it was meant to happen, I would run into that person again. But if I don't make that choice, then like that's the reality at the time. And now, like the idea is that through each of those moments in my day-to-day life when I'm out and about on the bus, those actually become like real opportunities to influence reality, to realize how malleable this reality is by using like the shift buttons, and I'll see someone, like this literally happened early in the week. I'm just going to tell this story real quick, mention something else, and then I'll pass it back to Alex, and then we're going to bring on another caller after that. But right. Literally just last week as I was coming home from on the bus, I like went to the back of the bus and I sat down next to a guy who's on the other side of the row, and like he had all sorts of awesome tattoos, and one of his tattoos was like the star tetrahedron. So I'm just like, okay, like perfect, like the universe like makes it we naturally gravitated together. Like it was one of those things where it's happened to me so many times where I was just sort of like, I kind of like, I'm like, oh, like, well played, universe, like, good job, like, not even subtle on that one. And then, without much delay, I'm just like, hey man, I got a gift for you. And I gave him like one of the buttons with the Eye of Ra on it and told him about the meeting. And it was really cool because in that moment, I asked him and I'm like, oh, are there many people who are sort of like, do you have many friends who are also interested in the metaphysical discussion? And he's like, like maybe like one or two, but not so much. And I'm like, awesome, I can introduce you to like 30 or 40 of them who live right here in the same city as us. And for him, that's creates a window of opportunity for him. So we're like passing on windows of opportunity. So now he can come out to one of the paradigm shift meetings, he can get involved with stuff. And again, like that's where we're creating new realities every single choice that we make. So the idea that we can create realities brings us into the potential of asking which realities do we want to create. And yeah, it's pretty cool. The other thing I was just going to say when you were talking about the zeal for life, I'll just sort of summarize for the people who might just be tuning in. So zeal for life, you can go to zealforlife.com. And I'm not like promoting them. I'm just letting you know what it is. But it's like sort of like a powder, like sort of protein thing that has a bunch of awesome stuff, like just like put into a protein and you can mix it into a drink and drink it. But anyways, like that, I mean, just sort of summarizing, that's what you're talking about. You're talking about getting back to the natural way of nature. I encourage anyone to go out into a grocery store and to look at all the sacred geometry, at all the fruit and the vegetables there, and to just have fun doing this. I actually had a lot of fun doing this, and I think I'm going to make a video of it, of just like sacred geometry in the grocery store, and then compare that to like, well, I'll get into other stuff later, but I was just going to put it into juxtaposition as to like why people don't realize their connection to things when they're put in a culture where all they see are cereal boxes with like man-made graphics and things like that, opposed to having the option of a bunch of fruit sitting in front of them as a young child and them just naturally being like, hey, like this fruit looks like this fruit, this spiral is also in this thing looks like this thing. But instead, when we're looking at cereal boxes all the time, it creates that separation of illusion because it looks like it's separate. And even though that cereal box is made of sacred geometry, you have to like get down to the molecular level of it before you actually see it. So those are just some things that came to mind. We can talk about that later. But yeah, sorry, thanks for letting me share there. I'll pass it back to Alex. Alex, what else would you like to share? And then we'll bring on another caller after that also.
All right. Yeah, I was doing the Zeal for Life thing. Yeah, they only opened up in just a few countries, so for anyone who was interested in that, I've posted a couple links in the live chat. But the countries that they are open to, the United States, Canada, Australia, Singapore, Hong Kong, Dominican Republic, the United Kingdom, and Puerto Rico. Those are the only places that you can get the Zeal for Life sent to you. But like I said, go to the links I put in the live chat already if you want to find out more. There's a video that is just awesome video. I kind of touched on a few things they talk about in it. Hopefully I didn't spoil anything for you guys, but that was just a few things. But other than that was pretty much all of my notes. And, I would just love to sit on, and if you want to bring on another caller, I would love to do that.
Cool, man. Cool. Well, I'll if you're listening in from the phone, I'll just we'll keep you on. We'll keep you on for a bit, and we'll see what the caller has to bring onto the air as well. And we're gonna bring on. I'm pretty sure this is Tony. I'm pretty sure we're gonna bring on Tony. He's been around the paradigm shift community for the last little while now, and hasn't been on the show before. And we were just working out the technical aspects, and we're gonna try bringing him on Skype. So that's why I'm just prefacing this with the intention that it will work, but we shall see. So Tony, I think I'm bringing you onto the air now. So we're gonna try this. So Tony, if you're ready, bring you on to Paradigm Shift Radio. Here we go. Hello, is this Tony?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear someone. So.
Okay. Well, I just want to make sure. Yeah, that's the first time I've done it using Skype or a phone for that matter.
Cool,
yeah,
cool. Well, it works. Yeah, it works, man. So, but yeah, Tony, welcome to Paradigm Shift Radio. Again, I'll pass the talking stick over to you. Anything that you wanna help share with the community, please, by all means.
Okay. Well, yeah, I just wanted to touch upon what you said earlier. It was just really cool that you was talking about paying attention and listening to the universe and how these situations that people are in, it's like you just say, hey, this person like catches your attention or something, and then you just go to that. It's like I commented earlier from seeing that show that you said you well, at least you liked the comment. It was we bought a zoo. Real heartwarming story about starting over, and one of the things that they said in it is if you can muster 20 seconds of courage, you can change your life. And I think that's cool because you can approach people like that and just muster that courage and just, and even if you don't know who they are or anything, you can find out and you might make a friend. So that's really cool that you mentioned that. And a lot of times the universe will definitely guide you in that direction. And like you said, it's like, yes, I saw that a while away. But very apparent, universe. Very apparent.
Yeah.
Okay. One thing that I was wanting to touch upon is really just two things, actually. One's about something that most people might have to deal with, especially coming out of one belief system and into a broader-based spectrum, much like I did. And that is some of the things in the Christian Bible and how you can deal with people. Sometimes maybe your parents or something like that. There's some things that, if you want to take notes on it, you can kind of tell them. Like the Ascended Master, Yeshua, sometimes they misrepresent the name Jesus. So it's some really wise things, and I wanted to cover a couple of them. And one of them is, I have fed you with milk and not with meat, for hitherto ye were not able to bear it, and neither are you now able. And what he's talking about there is two different teachings. One for people that aren't quite ready for something that they need to chew on, and then people who are. That's in 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 2. And on further down, and this is the one I really, really like, especially when you're dealing with Christians who aren't quite as open-minded and you want to open their mind to the other teachings of other ascended masters, is 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 16. And this really goes along with the whole idea of namaste. Know ye not that you are the temple of God and that the Spirit of God dwelleth within you? And these teachings are something that they miss. They don't get it. They're too worried about the dogma not to realize the true teachings of the spiritual teachings that are in the Bible. Now, that said, what I wanted to touch upon real quick is the wisdom of Solomon. You was talking about the key to wisdom. Well, in the wisdom of Solomon, mainly he's pretty famous in occult circles for this grimoire that he had, that was based on his name, called the Key of Solomon, and it has a lot of different sigils and symbols and stuff of that nature, which science has just recently discovered the subconscious mind does communicate in the symbols, or in symbols better than it does the spoken word.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. So the wise men back of the ages, astrologers, mages, whatever you want to call them, they knew this, and they've been using it for centuries. And I just wanted to read a couple of things off of Proverbs that was written by Solomon, and it's really cool because what it does is Solomon, when he's speaking to his son, he's telling him about wisdom. He refers to wisdom as she. I often considered that, and I wondered why. And I've basically come to the conclusion that it's this. As wisdom, at least in Proverbs, it's pointing out to the feminine principle of creation that some would call goddess. The first thing, I want to do is I want to jump into the Bible with you real quick and read some stuff. And just kind of think about what this says. To know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding. To receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, judgment, and equity. And now, equity comes from the word meshawar, and it means evenness or balance, which is very interesting. To give the subtlety or guile or trickery, to give subtlety to the simple, to the young man knowledge and discretion. So basically it's saying, there's to some people you give the simple, and to others you give the knowledge and discretion. A wise man will hear and will increase learning. A man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels. To understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings. And this is interesting since, it alludes to something hidden within Proverbs. And what I found is it alludes to like the law of the mother. Like, my son, hear the instruction of thy father and forsake not the law of thy mother, which I think is referring to the goddess. And then how does it allude to it? It's like wisdom crieth without, she uttereth her words in the streets. She crieth in the chief place of concourse. Concourse is like, it's to be loud in the openings and doorways and gates in the city. And she uttereth her words, say, how long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and the fools hate knowledge. Turn you at my reproof, and behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you, and I will make known my words unto you. So wisdom is the Holy Spirit that most people don't really understand. That's what it is. I'm going to get out of the Bible really quick, so I just got a couple more things to say about it. Pretty much that's just what I was after, except for this last part, because of the way it says it. And I know, because I've practiced Wicca before, that silver is the color of the goddess, the moon, and such things like that. If thou seekest her as silver and searchest for her as hidden treasures, that's when you'll find her. So anyways, I'm trying to keep it short, but mainly what I'm saying is this whole idea of the Trinity is this tiny box called Judeo-Christian. You find the hidden treasure. The Trinity is actually, at least according to Christian tradition, God the Father, God the Mother, and God the Child. Once you overlook the dogma with the Proverbs, you see into the meat of the actual matter. A wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels. So yeah, that's pretty much what I have about that, as far as just maybe trying to get out of the droves of a belief system that you was born to and grew up in. And, tradition has a good way of hanging on to you if you're not careful. I had a hard time coming out of that tradition, and I thought I would help people, at least who might be in that situation, or, maybe their parents might not understand what they're doing, or maybe some of their friends.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for sharing that, Tony. That's pretty cool. And yeah, like I think you're right. Like it just it'd be very interesting to sort of just take the time to sort of approach like all the symbolism within books such as the Bible or just like any of the ancient texts that we have, and just sort of try and get a little bit literal with them. Like it was always interesting how esoteric ideas and concepts were literally like strategically hidden within text. So it's like, all right, there's two layers to this story. There's like what it looks like, and then there's like what it's implying, sort of thing. So yeah, I can tell. Like,
they were predominantly done that. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, they were predominantly done that because of the church, because they had to hide it.
Exactly. Yeah.
I guess it was the Roman Catholic Church. But yeah, the next part that I was wanting to touch upon, if I have time, is the key to wisdom. Now, I'm pretty sure most people, or at least most of us know, or I assume most of us know, like the 7 Hermetic principles. But I'll just mention them just to like refresh for the people that are unfamiliar, or to introduce it to those that are listening and are not aware of them. They really are universal laws. This
is interesting. I will just say, like, it's funny because I intended on this coming up on the show tonight, and I was putting a message out to Michael Pratt, who is in the Hangout with shout out to like Andy and Michael. They did a little classroom on Google Hangout earlier in the week through the Paradigm Shift community and so forth. But yeah, they were going over the 7 Hermetic principles, and I think this is probably like less commonly known than known, but it's all like innate knowledge in itself. But we can let's do that, Tony. If you just want to sort of run over, give like the Cole's notes of them.
I'm just kind of assisting Michael in that class just a little bit. Just what little I could, but I saw that post that you put about the key to wisdom, or the keys to wisdom. So
that's right.
I would cover it a little bit and see what I could come up with and kind of try to abbreviate. But
go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, the thing is that these laws, these universal laws, they were written like thousands of years ago. I don't know if people realize that. I know at least 3,000 years ago, and possibly even more. And most of them have time to time been proven by current science. Now, one thing I'd have to say is current science is relative. You know, it's a relative field. I look at it as a tool that's like usable with the knowledge we currently have to apply and test. In other words, current science is a tool we have to prove intuitive truths or theories. Use the scientific method to show others what we've discovered that may not feel this intuitive truth or this light bulb over the head moment. So if anyone's taking notes, if not, it's good to know ahead of time something that's mentioned in the principle of cause and effect. And Brendon touched upon this earlier about how you affect your universe. And you can use the first three laws, and I know you've heard it plenty of times, raise your vibrations. You know, focus on what you want, not what you're having to deal with. You know, don't focus on that to change. Focus on where you want to change to. And you can use the first three laws to rise above the operations of the lower four. But I'm getting ahead of myself, so what I'll do is I'll get to the first principle and try to keep it as brief as possible. Now, what it says is the principle of mentalism. All is mind, the universe is mental. The principle embodies the truth, all is mind. It explains that all is spirit, which in itself is unknowable and undefinable, but which may be considered and thought of as a universal, infinite, living mind, conscious. And Brendon, if you want to jump in any time and comment on any of these, absolutely.
Okay.
The second principle of correspondence, you've heard this one too, I know. As above, so below. As below, so above. This principle embodies the truth that there's always correspondence between the laws and phenomena of the various planes and being of life. The old Hermetic axiom ran in these words: as above, so below. As below, so above. And the grasping of this principle gives one the means to solve many a dark paradox and the hidden secret of nature. Now, I am reading like directly off of an abbreviated set that I've put up here so that I can try to get it as close as possible to the Kabbalion. But there is way more that you can know about it. There's a book. The Kabbalion is a book that you can read, and it has all these universal truths and laws that I believe everybody should know about, that is pursuing a consciousness shift, because it kind of explains what we're doing. Now, here's the good one. The principle of vibration. Nothing is at rest. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. Everything is in motion. And that facts of modern science endorses. You know, they now know, I think it was back in the 70s or something, maybe early 60s, could be earlier than that. It had to have been earlier than that because of World War II. So, they split the atom, and they found out, inside these atoms, yes, they are moving. Everything's constantly moving, protons and electrons and stuff like that. But it was, like said, thousands of years ago by ancient masters in Egypt. And it explains the differences between the manifestations of matter, energy, mind, and even spirit. They're basically just varying rates of vibration. As far as the principle of polarity, this is the fourth principle. I'm going to try to wrap this up as quick as I can. Everything's dual. Everything has its opposite poles. Everything has a pair of opposites. Like and like are the same. Opposites are identical in nature but different in degree. I'll just kind of abbreviate that and say, let's say hot and cold. Hot and cold are basically the same thing if you look at it as temperature. They're just extremes. One's hot, one's cold. And that happens throughout polarity, if you look for it. Let's see, what else was out here? Okay, the principle of rhythm, this is the fifth correspondence. There's only 7, so I'm just about done. Everything flows in and out. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. The pendulum swings manifest in everything. Measured swing to the right, measured swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. The law of karma, action and reaction. The thing about it is, what I said at the very beginning, you can rise above these last 4 laws of using the top 3. All is mind, vibration, and correspondence. Whenever you, as far as above, so below, Whenever you bring that into effect, it happens. Okay, now, so that was the principle of rhythm. Rhythm is basically the measure of motion to and fro. It's exactly like I said. Like you're on a merry-go-round. Like think of the wheel of life as a merry-go-round. When you're on that merry-go-round, if you're on the spokes of that wheel, you're going to feel the effect of that rhythm or that force pull and that push and pull of that force. But the closer you get to the center of the merry-go-round, if you've ever been on one while somebody spins it, where basically you don't feel a pull or any direction. If you stay right in the center and you're balanced, you can overcome that balance by staying centered. Okay, now cause and effect, that's when I first started talking about it earlier. I kind of touched upon every cause has its effect, every effect has its cause, everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for law not recognized, and there are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law. This principle embodies the fact that there is a cause, that explains that everything happens according to law, that nothing ever merely happens, that there's no such thing as chance. The Hermetics understood the art and the methods of rising above the ordinary plane of cause and effect to a certain degree by mentally rising to a higher plane that become the causers instead of effects. And you can use the laws to overcome the laws. That's the important part there. The principle of gender. Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and its feminine principles, and it manifests on all planes. Masculine, feminine principles that work. See, on the physical plane, the principle manifests as sex. On the higher planes, it takes higher forms. Every male thing has a female element also, and every female also the male principle. So that's pretty much all the 7 laws. You can easily find this information on the internet if you just look up the Kabbalion. I could probably pull up a link for it and post it in the chat.
Already got it for you, Tony. Yeah. Anybody?
Okay. Yeah. See, I was on looking at my notes at the time. But,
no doubt.
As far as just my notes and stuff, that's what I was wanting to let people know is there are the laws, the universal laws, and what they mean, and they're available. The keys of wisdom are out there if you want to learn them. And then use those along with your awareness, with your consciousness, with meditation, and listen. Listen to what the all has to say, the universal mind. I know you mentioned it earlier about the all, and some people don't know what that is. So I just thought I would touch upon it.
Yeah, definitely. For anybody looking to get more information with this, consider this like your homework. Just take some time to do a little bit of reading about the 7 Hermetic principles. So run a search on that, or run a search on the Kabbalion. Kabbalion is Kybalion, kind of like Babylon. So the Kabbalion, but 7 Hermetic, Hermetic principles. Check that out, and just go over that again. It would be a conversation to expand on, because evidently anything that we're talking about, you can almost draw back and say well, how do the 7 Hermetic principles, how are they unfolding within this situation? What is being revealed? What is present? And I think that's for me, that's such the interesting thing, is that this reality can and has been mapped out to a degree. At least these are the laws that are there now, and to be able to have those and to be entrusted with those is kind of the idea of this will get you started, and then maybe as you grow older you might figure out something that works better, or your own interpretation of the laws. But again, this is ancient knowledge that people died for. Many people have died for, and this is just here right in our lap. So just even in the back of your heart, have just gratitude for the fact that we are blessed with this information. And I think that the fact that it's so accessible still keeps it esoteric. The fact that it's just hidden amongst a plethora of an endless sea of animated cat gifs and strange things on the internet. What is the Kabbalion? Who would care about the 7 laws that create our universe? Hush push, I want to watch other things. So yeah, just take some time with that. But go ahead, Tony.
The first time I actually saw the Kabbalion, it was, and it even says it in the book itself, that whenever you're ready to the lips of wisdom are open to the ears of understanding, and when you're ready to hear the Kabbalion, it will come into your possession. And at the time, it was just a little book. I mean, just a real small, like 6-inch by 5-inch book. And then it just had so much wisdom in it. But now with the internet, it's so easy to get that information, and people really don't realize just how sacred this information really is, even though it's easy to get.
Absolutely, yeah.
So again, click the link.
Yeah, all right. Thanks, Tony. So again, just running over the list again of what the principles were. You have the principle of mentalism, principle of correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. And we can talk about that more some other time. But in the meantime, we'll just continue moving along with things, and we'll bring on another caller. So I think Tony is AFK right now. Tony, if you're AFK, just let me know.
No, I'm still here.
You're still there? Okay. All right. Well, Tony, we'll keep you in for another couple minutes. Actually, we're gonna bring on one of our regulars here, Jessica Starshine. I know she's in the queue. She's actually sitting in a McDonald's right now, which I think is a very interesting juxtaposition. We've never had someone on Paradigm Shift Radio call in live from a McDonald's, so she's just using the internet there. And I think she's got a quick poem to share, and then we'll bring on another caller shortly after that. We'll bring on caller from, based on the time length that we got here, we're going to be fair and go by the time, so we'll bring on caller from area code 513, and then after that I'll let you guys know where we're at. So, Tony, I'm just going to mute you if that's cool for now, and then you can, just so you're typing and not making noise and stuff. So thanks again, Tony, and Tony, post your Facebook profile into the live chat. If people want to be able to connect with you, they can do that through there. So, perfect. All right.
It.
Oh, man. Yeah, and we're just getting started, man. So if you're around in the episode, I'd love to just bring you back on as we go through things. So.
Okay. I'll most of the items here.
Perfect. All right. Thanks again, Tony. All right, so we'll bring on, we'll go from there, and thanks again to Alex. Alex is just muted in the background, but he's still connected too, and we just got quite a few other callers in the queue, so we'll make the most of this. We got 10, 11 left in the show. So again, just sort of at the top of the hour, just kind of reminding people to put in their submissions for the free button draws this episode. Send a Facebook message to facebook.com/ParadigmShiftRadio to get your name entered into the draw for the free shift buttons, and again, those are awesome tools that you can use to spark conversations with strangers on buses and literally like create new realities and alter the timelines and be a superhero and do awesome things and help create reality using your understanding of the 7 Hermetic principles. So again, like go back, study those, and really just like spend time with them and actually bring them into your understanding of what they reflect within your own actions and how you can integrate your own understanding into, like, how you can integrate this understanding into your actions. So, yeah, you can be like, all right, you know, like I'm gonna do something related to vibrations. I'm going to do something related to correspondence. And then, again, so very cool stuff. As above, so below. Interesting thing in terms of Hollywood, this is just like a side note, just so you guys are aware, a new movie is like being released. It's like some horror movie or something. It doesn't really look like it's like too conscious per se, but it's called As Above, So Below. So interesting that they're playing around with that, and that's coming out by Legendary Studios too, and the studio names are always interesting too. So, but anyways, we'll move along with things. Just so you guys know, thank you again to everyone who's tuning in. We got 27 users in the live chat, and if we can get someone to sign up as a contributor by the end of this episode, then we will be doing that button draw, absolutely guaranteed. So I'll check in with everyone in the live chat. But in the meantime, let's bring on another caller. So bring it on, as I said, caller from area code 513. So caller from area code 513, if you're ready, you're going to bring you onto Paradigm Shift Radio. Here we go. Oh, wait, sorry. Hi, caller. Hi, caller. I just forgot that Yeah, I can. I forgot I said I was going to bring on Jessica, but I brought you on. Nothing happens by accident, so say hello to the internet.
It never does. Hello, this is the Moon Man T. I'm an Ascended Master. Welcome.
Awesome, man. And we were just talking, like we were talking before the show. This is the same person, yeah?
Yes, we were. Yes, it is.
Cool, man. Okay, well, you know what? Just kind of, were you listening to the last caller about us talking about the Hermetic principles and everything? I'm sure you were. I'm sure what you were talking, because I know you want to talk about like the downloads coming into the Earth at this time, among other things. So this will be a nice segue, and then we'll bring on Jessica after that. We'll just sort of build up to it. But yeah, please, the microphone is yours. And again, what was your name? What name do you want to go by?
The Ascended Master Moon Man T.
The Ascended Master Moon Man T. All right, awesome.
Yes.
Okay, well, the talking stick is yours. So please, by all means.
I wanted to speak on, first of all, the fact that this is a quantum reality. You know what I mean? So from my point of view, I affect every single thing that's seemingly outside of me. You understand what I'm saying? From the commercial that's about to come on to the car that's about to come down the street. So from the point of view of the viewer, you are creating reality itself. You know what I mean? So for me, that's the all, and that's it. Other than that, outside of me is spirit, is my spirit reflected. You understand what I'm saying? You, the other callers, the listeners, it's all a play on the one. If we understand oneness truly, we'll understand that it's truly one, and from there, we'll realize that everything that we're speaking of, these ancient texts and these temples and all these things, these are things within our awareness, within the awareness. You know, we hold so much energy towards these things instead of realizing that it's the viewer of these things that are really validating us. But as far as the downloads go, right now, ascension is an inevitable thing. These are things that have been prophesized, just like you said, for eons. You know what I mean? We are the soul group that came to the planet, to ascend planet, along with all the inhabitants on the planet. There has never been another. The ones in the graves that we go to visit, we're visiting ourselves at the end of it all. You know what I mean? So it comes back to us. We're pretty much just waking up to ourselves, that it's been us the whole time, and it's a fun ride because you realize that all that's around you has just been confusing you, and it's just been the one that's been watching what's around him or her, for that matter. Can you hear me still?
Oh. Yeah, we can still hear you. I will say, like, it's a little bit choppy, but it is what it is, and again, it's just a chance for us to be able to practice our psychic listening. But yeah, no, we can hear you, man. We can hear you. If you want to keep going, by all means. Okay,
I actually wrote something down. It says, when one speaks of downloads of energy, we are speaking in terms of information being downloaded to the brain from the field. And this is the field that you spoke about, saying that we're beyond time and beyond space. This field is infinite, and for us as human beings, it's very hard for us to grasp infinity, being one of the infinite possibilities. But the new downloads, they've been coming in since 2012, and just imagining what those downloads have been since is just unimaginable. Okay, when I think about it, it's huge. Going from a limited understanding of consciousness to feeling the presence of my own being with a knowing of my true self. These waves of vibrational information need a conduit that can withstand the energy that is coming into the planet's atmosphere. What we call light workers are such conduits. These humans practice meditation and as a result become conduits for the downloads. Once downloaded, these humans channel and ground this energy into the planet. Engaging in things such as art, music, writing, counseling, or any other form of service work, these humans channel the energy into all that they do. Grounding the energy requires that these light workers stay close to nature so that the energy that they have channeled is going through them and into the planet, allowing the planet to distribute the energy where it sees fit. Practicing grounding will help you to feel more present in the moment, and most importantly, it helps to keep the knowing of your true self, allowing you to manifest the world with greater ease. As you continue to download energy, it becomes more important to cleanse the body so that you do not overwhelm it with these higher vibratory energies. And that's the end of what I wrote, at least.
Cool, man. Right on.
Yeah, it's extraordinary because from the point of view, like I said, from the point of view of the viewer, we're just shifting through the energies of yesterday. You know what I mean? Saying that yesterday's yesterday, saying that the building, it's really just energy. And we distort that infinite energy by saying that it's a car or it's the TV. And when we do that, it automatically becomes something other than God's infinite energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like it's like labels and names and everything. It's funny because like I always try and juxtapose like the way we perceive things to the way how like dogs and animals perceive things.
Yeah.
Like I don't think they don't give things like names and labels in the same way. It's more just like, hey, that's the thing that makes me feel this way. That's the thing that makes me feel this way. And they understand that each thing is actually just like the same thing because it all makes them feel in some way or another. I mean, if I were a dog, that's probably how I would feel about it. So. Something like that. Yeah, cool, man. Was there anything else that you want to share? I mean, we got a couple other callers, but we can, but by all means, just keep going.
Just potential in general. The stories of Jesus, I heard one caller call him Yeshua. These stories are potentialities within the field. These are spirit. These stories like about Egypt and all these things are just, again, it's a mind construct. It's something within our mind that we have to think about and go back to and try to get a good idea of what it was. But from this moment of our awareness, this is all there truly is. Everything is going to be a mind construct. If we're thinking about yesterday in terms of ancient times or whatever it is, that all exists right now simultaneously with what the viewer is viewing and feeling.
Yeah, man.
That's it.
That's it. That is it. That is it.
Yeah, man.
So, cool. All right, man. Sweet. Well, I just want to be able to keep things open, and we'll continue to bring on some more callers. You're welcome to just kind of hang around for a bit. Actually, we'll just keep you on here, and we'll bring Jessica on, and then maybe if you have something that you want to like bounce off what she says, we'll pass the mic back to you. Cool. All right. So I'm just gonna mute you just for 1 second though, just because there's a little bit of background. Cool. All right. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Not a problem.
It's awesome. That's like, he's one of my like awesome Instagram friends. And again, if you have an Instagram, connect with me at instagram.com/paradigmshiftradio. There's some cool things. I'm getting the hang of this whole smartphone thing. So. But anyways, all right. So we're gonna bring on Jessica. We're gonna bring on Jessica Starshine. She was called in the last couple episodes, and we're gonna bring her on. And I think she has a poem to share. So this is Jessica. If you're ready, we're gonna bring you onto Paradigm Shift Radio. I'm pretty sure she's ready. So we're gonna try bringing her on to Paradigm Shift Radio, and she's reporting live from McDonald's. So in Toronto, Jessica, if you're ready, bring you on to Paradigm Shift Radio. Here you go. Hello. Hey. How are you? Are you enjoying? Are you enjoying your McNuggets? Aren't they delicious?
I'm loving it. You know what? I almost bought some. I'm serious. Yeah. And I was like, I'm gonna get a salad instead.
Did you eat those nuggets
as
as a child?
Tempting. I did.
I mean, didn't we all? Can't we all taste them just by thinking about them? Isn't that weird? Oh man.
In a grossly awesome way, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know why I still crave them or why I still crave those French fries, but
hey, that's an interesting philosophical conversation in itself. Like that's like the remnant programming that's still holding on to us. But Jessica, please, I'll pass the microphone over to you and just talk over the background noise if you can, and we'll just keep you on for a little bit. And I think you had a poem that you want to share, but please, by all means, the talking stick is yours.
Thank you. Just to double check, can you hear me okay? Is the music too loud?
There is background noise, that's what I'm saying. We'll just keep you on for a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to request for them to turn music down and let them know that I was going to be on an online radio show and that was really important. But
yeah.
But I figured, you know what, I'll just be the humble person in the corner on the laptop and let the music poem came to me, I was sitting here thinking, I'm a regular on the show now, and I'd like to talk about something, and I can't think of anything except. So this is what came through. I just wrote this.
Okay, you're a little choppy there, but it might fix itself. Keep going.
I'm gonna plow through the choppiness.
Yeah, just yell at your computer. It's okay.
Hello.
Go for it.
All right, I'm gonna yell it. My poem is called 0 Points. My name is. Is this world me, or a concept of my mind? What is my true path? What treasures await? What venture will I find? Should I know, or know that I need? Shall I remain silent in true knowing, or bring myself to speak? Shall I be humble? Shall I be meek? Am I too strong? Am I too weak? How will I know who I am to be when each moment I change and transform my reality? How can I calm the waters inside when immersed in the depths of the storm? The infinite is infinite, and he cannot sustain. My consciousness expands, sounding alarm. The infinity of infinity makes the same thing in this world of signs and symbols, the sacred and the mundane. We dance, we sing, we breathe, we wax and we wane. We call ourselves a name, but we are what we are, even when we are not. Every heartbeat, every hard stop. We are just as much all in as we are at the top. 0 Point is my name. Reborn, renewed, constantly changed. I am you. You are me. We are the God spark. Namaste. That's it.
Yay.
That's my poem.
Snap my fingers at that one. Awesome. That was cool. Yeah. And thanks for sharing that. Even from the midst of Babylon, right in the heart of it, rebirthing it.
Yeah.
Cool. But yeah, go ahead, Jessica. Again, I just want to not keep you on for too long, just because it's pretty bad audio. But if there's anything else you want to share with the audience, please, by all means.
That is all I have to say.
That is all you have to say. All right. Cool.
I'm enjoying the show.
Likewise. Well, I'm just gonna. I'll bring back the master back onto the show, and we'll just have I'll probably have to mute you for a second, but I just wanted to give him the opportunity if he's had anything to add. So, Ascended Master, we're gonna bring you back on, and hold on, I'm gonna let you guys just say hi to each other. Okay, say hi. Oh man, it's like so much noise right now.
I know. Hey, how are you?
I'm good, man. Nice to talk to you.
We've made it to one another.
Loving the bunch, man.
Oh man, God bless you.
God bless you.
I absolutely love.
Okay, I'm gonna mute Jess.
I couldn't hear it. Okay.
Go ahead. You can talk.
I absolutely love the poem. It really touched on what I spoke about as far as the potentialities of reality when she was speaking about the 0 point and the fact that creation starts with the viewer and from there we perceive what we see, but we see separation, but between myself and the iPad is a living, breathing substance. It's intelligent. There's literally no space between myself and other seemingly separate items. It's extraordinary if we think about it truly. Can you hear me? Am I still here?
Yeah, man, you're still here.
Yeah, it's an awareness thing. It's coming to the awareness of, literally coming to the awareness of your awareness. And us as human beings and all life on the planet and within the universe, we share the awareness of life itself. So there's only really one life and multiple beings living it, seemingly separate from one another. But we're just all having seemingly separate experiences in infinite ways. From the planets to all extraterrestrial life. We're all just, ripples on the ocean of love, I guess you could say.
Yeah, man. And again, like, this is a lot of stuff. Listening to, I mentioned at the top of the show, I was listening to a lot of Alan Watts and everything, and he's just really, he's a very well-known philosopher. Those of you who don't know him, go just run a search on Alan Watts, W-A-T-T-S. He was very well known for bringing philosophies, metaphysical like ideas from the East into the West, and he spent a lot of his life doing lectures and doing talks, and even being invited into like companies like IBM, and he would give like a presentation to them, and he was like literally trying to like get people there to just be open to the idea, to see beyond the illusion of separateness, which is again like something that just comes up and up again. But he says like, you know, like it's an interesting thing. He talks about the wave, and you were just talking about the wave, but he says like, you know, like we are a continuous wave within that ocean. We're a part of that ocean. It's not like one wave ends and another wave begins. All the waves might be like individual waves, but they're all part of the ocean. So again, it's I love, you know, the simple Rumi metaphor. Like, you're not a single drop in the ocean. Your entire ocean. You are the mighty drop. Yes. Sure. Yeah, the mighty drop though. That's right. You are the mighty drop. So that's the other side of it. Very cool stuff. And there's one other thing that Alan Watts was talking about, and he was just talking about like the idea that within nature, when you have like a tree is like something that, or like an apple tree. An apple tree, as we were to say, creates apples, and therefore the apple tree itself apples. And then the unique thing about this earth is that like we don't come into this earth, we come out of this earth. So this earth, what it does, there's people on it. So what this earth it does, it peoples. The earth is peopling, and we are coming out of it. We're coming out of it, and we are literally the fruit. We are like the nutrition of the consciousness itself, like just crystallized into this like delicious thing that is the experience. But and then he said it was very interesting. He's like, so at one point this earth was just rock, but out of the rock came life. So he said, like, you know, be wary of wherever there are rocks, because soon life will come out of them. Life is coming. Just kind of, we forget that the rocks are like still vibrating too, right? Like they're still conscious, for sure. They're conscious. Yeah, cool, man.
It's a beautiful concept, because once us as human beings, human souls, realize that it's really us waking up, and all other life on the planet already lives in oneness. It's just the human beings telling their own separate little story about what is, and all just is. And we just put our personal spin on it. You know what I mean? We can blame all the governments we want to blame, but us as souls made a decision at higher levels, at these higher vibratory levels where everything is already done truly. We made these decisions already. So we can blame anything we want, but at the end of the day, it was us who made the decision to come in this moment and realize that it's literally a momentary blip out of infinity. And we're looking at the universe or infinity pretending to be a pot or a TV or a human being or a deer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like it's and again, Alan Watts, just going back to his ideas, it's sort of like each one of these different experiences as consciousness is kind of like a different dance or a different game. So I mean, in the same way with cards, with cards you can play poker, you can play euchre, you can play backgammon, you can do all these different games with cards using the same deck, like using the same base elements, sort of thing. So I mean, it's interesting when you think about, like, you know, when the universe wants to dance like a dog, it experiences itself as a dog, and we are just one type of that dance, but each in ourselves. It's like such a unique thing. So just reiterating the uniqueness that we all are. But awesome. So we're going to bring on another caller. Actually, we're going to bring on Alex. I just want to give him an opportunity to jump back in. I think he has something to add into this. I'm just going to put you. I'll just put you on mute for a second. Is that okay?
Perfect. That's perfect.
Cool. All right. And Alex, I'm gonna bring you back onto the air, and then we're gonna bring another caller. We'll bring on caller from what do we got here? I think caller from area code 707 will be the next person that we'll bring on. So Alex, we're gonna bring you back onto Paradigm Shift Radio. Yo, Alex. Right on now. Welcome back. Yeah, do you have something that came to mind?
Absolutely, yeah. Tony, just now when Tony was saying something again, but he said, you know, he was talking a lot about the biblical times and how all of this knowledge has somehow transversed through time and through all of the chaos that we created as a species, and has somehow made its way through all of that and is now not only coming back up, but coming back in force. And in a new light, I guess you could say, in that new age kind of way that, this is another form of in ancient Greek and Rome and stuff like that, those philosophers. I mean, we would be those philosophers in training in that day and age. But I want to kind of specify, or I want to bring to light the attention that, just because those things happened so long ago and they traverse such a long distance, linearly, those are infinite knowledges. And even in the New Age sense, he was talking about the seven Hermetic principles. If you watch, I watch a lot of Bashar and Abraham, on YouTube, and Bashar has this video. He calls it the 4 laws of creation, and this goes, even further, because the seven prophetic principles, and then you have the 4 laws of creation, which is, the first law is you exist. So you exist, and you always will exist, and always have existed in the linear sense. But we don't exist linearly. We exist beyond the fabric of space and time. As these greater beings, we're just concentrated and fractaled down into this third-dimensional, experience that we can only judge by our own perceptions. Just like you said, we walk around in kind of a mirror world, and everything that is outside of us is within us. And it's it's great, but I go back to the 4 laws of creation. As Bashar says, you exist and you always will exist. That's the first law. And then 2, actually brought up again, is 1 is the all, and the all are the one. And if most people don't really know what the all is, then that pretty much it's self-explanatory. The all is the all. It is the everything. It is all of existence. It is the source within the void. So you have the infinity of source inside the void, inside that, and even in that you have that duality that's in the Hermetic principles, and that's just the second law. The third law is what you put out is what you get back. That reflective kind of reflective sense that we get when we think of our position in the universe, and like you said, you could just walk and meet a person randomly, and then you see the tattoo, and you're like, hey, here you go. This is something that I think you'd be interested, or, and we make those connections even though there's all of this disconnection, and you can point out the disconnection a lot easier. But if you actually look at it and actually pay attention to it, we are so intricate and intimately connected to one another. Like, try going 24, 48 a week, hours without getting on your phone, without watching TV, or without, communicating to another being in some way, shape, or form. It's just impossible. You'd go crazy. And people take this for granted. They overlook that, we are completely and utterly connected to the universe and to everyone and everything around us. And I was reading this article the other day I kind of knew it. It's one of those things that until someone says it, and you're like, I knew that, but I wasn't aware of it. And it was, the video went on to say, actually I think it was from the Spirit Science page, if I'm not mistaken, but he went on to say that, the plants have emotion, and they have this electrical signals that respond to the conscious person. Mythbusters even did a thing on it. It responds to pain. It responds to good feeling vibrations. And even if the person or the viewer is a foot, 2 feet away, it can still feel that just by the intention, because it is so connected with you just by proximity. And you can't perceive anything you're not the vibration of. So once you perceive it, you are it, and it is you. And then, once we get caught up in the mundane, and we get caught up in the trivial things of it. But if you really look at it, you are everything that you see. You are everything that you've ever known in this, limited experience we call life, or the third dimensional experience. But, you get back to the four laws, you exist, you always will exist. The one is the all are the one. What you put out is what you get back, and change is the only constant except for the four laws. So no matter what you do, change is always going to happen. So even if you're uncomfortable with the situation you're currently in, don't worry, it'll change, because that's the only thing that it has left to do once you're completely done with it, and once you learn what you need to from it. And once you accept that it's not going to be the way that it is, you can actually relax yourself, and you can look at it in a sense that this is only temporary. And you can even look at life in a sense that this is only temporary, because it really is.
Mm-hmm.
You will go on experiencing past this lifetime frame of existence. But, I mean, and that was just what Tony was talking about earlier. We're not necessarily in the biblical time, but the biblical time is in us, because that's created everything that's created before us, and then that's created that which came before that, and then, and you can trace it all the way down to where we're at now. So you have this kind of hand-me-down storybook, but there's great, deep, vast knowledge that's hidden away in it, for one purpose or another, but the knowledge is still there.
For sure.
Okay.
Cool, man. Thanks, Alex.
But yeah, and did anybody have anything to say to that? Did you?
I mean, I was just listening. I was just taking it in, man. Like, it's always interesting to hear us, like, just reiterating things from a different angle. Because I mean, I think I liked what you said, like the idea that, like, yeah, like the biblical times are in us. That gives me something to think about. So, yeah, that's cool, man. But yeah, like I think it's exciting things. Like, honestly, just sort of, and I'll just take a quick moment here, and then we'll bring on the next caller. When we just sort of think about like where we are now, like sometimes people may get caught up in the idea of like, oh, this sounds like it's just repeating over and over and over again. Well, first of all, being able to like remember ourselves, the process of like as members, there's that the reconnection, the remembering process. It's remembering ourselves, with our ideas. Just sort of think back to all of us where we were literally as like a benchmark to even just 2001, and whether you're like associating that with like 9/11 and everything like that. But I know like at that point, like things with 9/11, and not to get in a conversation with that in itself was like this very interesting mega ritual that shifted the consciousness of many. But literally just sort of like think about where we as a culture were, like were we having these conversations back then? So I mean, it's interesting to see this progression to where we are now, and then just be able to be in this space to remind ourselves of it, but then to know that what the important thing is what we take beyond this radio show. So you might be listening to this radio show and just like enjoying it and sitting on the bus and everything, but use this radio show as like an opportunity to get boosted, like as a spiritual upgrade in some sort of a way, to be able to say like, yes, because we are all one, then that means there's like this momentum that is already created, that all of us like are riding upon that wave. So it's a very cool thing. So don't allow yourself, if you notice yourself sort of maybe being like caught up just like sort of like judging, or I don't know if that's the right word or whatever, just like consider that just like an opportunity to observe the thoughts within your mind, and maybe just to sort of like let go of ones that do not fully serve you, if that's the thing. So just be able to embrace like the awesomeness of being able to share and just be able to express how we see things from like our multiple perspectives here as a group. So thank you, Alex, for continuing to just like cast your rays. Like we're all these like different rays of light, and yeah, it's a very, very cool thing. So cool, Alex. We'll bring on another caller. We only got about less than 20 minutes live in the show, and we'll be doing an after party hangout. So Alex, is there any last thing that you just wanted to say, and I'll bring on another caller in a second?
Yeah. What was that last thing you had just said before you started talking about that? I just forgot what you said. About
well, I mean, we were just talking about like reiteration of like oneness from multiple different angles and stuff, or before that.
Okay, no, you're good. Yeah, it's. I don't know. You don't have to feel as if you have to live up to anything, because there's not anything to live up to yet. So it's as soon as you make that decision to do something or to take that action, don't don't focus on what it is that you have to do to get it all done, but focus on what it will look like when it's done, and then take that one piece at a time. Take it one piece at a time, and don't go about it in a way to where you get yourself, backtracking on your own path, because it's way too easy to go back to doing the things that you were doing the day before because you've already done it. Create new. If you find that you're sitting there every day, you get off work, you go home and you play a video game and watch the same TV shows or different TV shows, throw in the schedule, and that's just trying to open people up to this idea that everything's not set in stone. Nothing is really set in stone until it's done. And even then, it's still questionably set in stone because there's many different perspectives of it. So just understand that your perspective is just as valid as anyone else's perspective, and you have the right to say whatever you want, just like they have the right to say whatever they want. And don't be afraid to take that leap, especially Angela, who needs to call into this show.
I saw that. Cool. All right, good. Put her on the spot. If Angela wants to call in, please, by all means, Angela, you can call back in. Remind me of which number you're calling in from so I can see in the queue. But Alex, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you sharing all your perspectives and stuff. So, well,
absolutely. Namaste, everyone, y'all. Great night.
All right, thanks a lot, Alex. We'll put you on mute for now. And again, like Alex is, he's been around literally since the beginning of the show. So he said he's been listening to the show for like 3 years, and we've only been doing it for 2. That's impressive. Thank you so much to him and everyone else. So with less than 15 minutes left in the show, we're still looking for that extra donation to be able to come in as a contributor, someone to be able to support as a contributor for this week's episode of the show, so that we can do that shift button draw. Still looking for that. Just send a message to me, even just on Facebook or in the live chat, if you want to be able to say you can do it, but maybe not right this second. That's fine either way. We'll bring on a caller from area code, I want to say, 707, I think, because we haven't brought them on before. I'm pretty sure. So caller from area code 707, we're going to bring you on to Paradigm Shift Radio, and then I think if we have time, we have another caller on Skype who we'll try to bring on. So caller from area code 707, we're going to bring you on. Here we go. Hello caller. Hi, caller.
Hi, this is Kristen.
Oh, this is Kristen. Oh, hey, Kristen. Welcome to Paradigm Shift Radio.
Thank you. I just want to say I love you so much. Oh, my gosh. You are amazing. And I started listening to your show in May, and your show just gives me goosebumps just because I've been going through a lot of change, and it's an amazing feeling, and everything has just, like, clicked. In I don't know. It's just, my words are all jumbled up.
Thank you for sharing. I feel like we could put that as a tagline for, like, Paradigm Shift Radio gives you goosebumps or something like that. So I'm sure you're not the only one. So gives me goosebumps too sometimes. So cool. Well, let me just say, if you don't mind me just saying, Kristen here, she's again one of our fellow friends across the globe, and she was actually out doing some like free hugs with her friends not too long ago. Whether or not that's what you wanted to talk about on the show, I don't know, but I just wanted to say that's awesome, and just of course encouraging other people to go out there and do things like free hugs and whatever it is you want to do to be able to just like get excited and get other people to say like, hey, like, because I think I'll just say this real quick because it was a big thing with meditation, the idea that in order to create peace, we have to be peace. So it's this idea that you cannot give something if you do not have it. So practice being peace. Practice going out of your comfort zone and being peace. If that means like doing it out in a public setting, in a fun and exciting, weird but love-filled way. But yeah, please, Kristen, we got. Please share whatever it is that you want to share on the show.
The free hugs yesterday was actually pretty amazing. We touched a lot of people's hearts, and we made people's days, and it was so awesome, and it was just a really good feeling. And then my friend and I, we went and meditated in the park, and it was just an awesome day. And me and her are going through the same change, and we've been exchanging knowledge and helping each other, which is great. And I just want to keep doing that, and you're such an inspiration to me with doing the free hugs, because I've always loved going out and saying hi to people and, putting out the love and peace, and you know, and I'm such a down to earth person that I want everyone to be that way, just because it's so nice to be nice to other people and to get that back, and you know, so it's great, and I loved it, and I want to keep doing it.
And yeah. I know you, and then you know what? It's gonna be exciting because your other friends are gonna be like, "Hey, can I join you? Like that looks fun."
Yeah,
and
I was kind of nervous I was kind of nervous at first because you know I'm not one of those type of people to always just go out there, but I was like, okay, I want to do something, I need to do something, so I just went ahead and did it, and it felt great. It felt great.
Cool.
But yeah.
Well, was that what you wanted to call in to talk about, or was there something else in particular?
Well, no, not really. I just wanted to call and because this is my first time, and I just wanted to say hi and, you know, say that I love your show and stuff. But, I mean, I'm interested in a whole bunch of things. I mean, I have such an open mind that I just want to learn everything.
Well, what is something, again, just sort of like giving you an opportunity to like talk in front of the class or whatever, like what is there something that you're just like really gets you excited, or even when you just first found out about, really sort of just said like, oh, this is cool, like I want to learn more about that. What was there that sort of clicked?
It was mainly like lucid dreaming, because I lucid dream a lot, and when I went on a trip to Germany and stuff, I lucid dreamt like almost every night, and I was like, whoa, these are crazy. I've never had these type of dreams before, and I don't know if it was because I was in a different state of mind and I was on the other side of the globe, and I'm interested in like past life stuff, dimensions and different realms and stuff like that, and it's very intriguing to me and interesting. And even with the movie Lucy and the movie Transcendence and stuff like that, all that stuff is just very interesting to me, and it draws me in, and even like physics and like the spirit science and the ancient knowledge of the flower of life and sacred geometry, like it's all jumbled up in my brain, and I can't really like just, you know, organize it all the way because I want to know all of it. Oh yeah, so that's pretty much it.
Well, that's good though. I mean, I think you're a good expression of having like that thirst for knowledge that is actually within all of us. You know, it's interesting because we sort of like when you think about the certain things that actually end up evidently feeling really good for us to do, they're often the things that are sometimes hard to get started with. So things just like exercising, physically exercising, things like doing free hugs, things like changing your food diet, and also things like doing research and taking time to like read books. And after this, encouraging people to go back and read the 7 Hermetic Principles as an example. But then out of that, you're just like, hey, now I remember why I read things, because like I just acquired knowledge. Like this is cool. And like I was thinking the same thing even when I was listening to the Alan Watts lectures. It's just like, wow, you know, like this is like now a part of my experience. I can like reference some of the metaphors that he used and use it within like my own understanding of things. But you know, I think it's really cool. Thank you for being excited about things, because it gets other people excited.
Oh, you're
too.
welcome. Yeah, I always love to get people excited. That's what I do.
That's awesome. Cool. Have you gotten into like the energy healing side of things, like Reiki and stuff?
I actually have, yeah. I've been meditating, and I actually want to try to become a energy healer. And because I've been practicing a lot with opening up my chakras and the energy in the palm of your hands and your feet, and I've been doing some type of chanting, and I actually literally feel my whole body vibrating, and I can feel it circulating, like not clockwise but counterclockwise, and then I sometimes feel like my body is spinning clockwise, and I'm just like, whoa, this is a weird feeling, but it's awesome. So I've been doing different types of techniques. I use crystals to meditate with as well, and I practice with them, and it's really great, and it's a good feeling, because the crystals have been in my whole family for a long time, and my mom and my grandmother are into it as well, and so I've been kind of doing things with them, and we went to an intuitive psychic last weekend, and that was an amazing experience because I've never had an experience like that. And so I'm really in tune with my intuitive and my intuition, and which is really cool. And I just want to experience more of that feeling and the energies and, you know, looking at the auras and stuff like that. So it's really cool.
That is really cool. Like, it's literally this process, like you said, by having these new experiences, you're like unlocking new abilities and understandings that like you didn't even know you had within this reality. Like, it's it's interesting.
It's really interesting, and I love it, and I want to, you know, experience more of it, and it's like I have a thirst for it, you know.
Yeah, totally cool. Well, Kristen, thank you so much for calling in. Really do appreciate it. And if you're in the live chat, if you want to just post your profile there, and then people can add you. And
okay.
or I'll just for people looking, it's you can find her at facebook.com/ this is great, sillyjelly21. So
yeah,
that's your Facebook. Very cool.
That's my nickname.
Nice. Well, that could be interpreted in some very interesting ways, like metaphorically, like silly jelly. Like, it makes me think of like the cosmic like jelly or something, and then the innate nature within like intelligence to be like lighthearted and stuff. So yeah, at least one.
Yeah, well, I actually got that name because I used to eat a lot of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So my husband he calls me Jelly.
There you go. Awesome. Cool. All right. Kristen, stay put. There's one more caller who we got in the queue, and if I can bring them on, then we'll manage to have brought everybody on, and we only got 4 minutes left. So, Kristen, just stay put.
Okay.
I'm just keeping you on air. Caller who's calling in from Skype, you show up in my queue as live, and I know that's not your Skype name, so I know I'm not giving you proper. Just if you're listening, if you're called in through Skype, just prepare to be brought onto the air if you're calling in through Skype. There's only one of you. So, person who's calling in through Skype, we're going to bring you on to Paradigm Shift Radio. Here we go. Hello. Caller, can you hear us? Yep. Hello.
Yeah. Oh, hey, it's Jake from Hamilton, Ontario calling. Yeah.
Awesome.
I just want to say that. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you, Jake. Go ahead. We just got a couple minutes. So, talking 6 years. Welcome.
All right. Just to say that you have a really great show going on. I love what you're doing. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, the funny thing is that you're from London, Ontario, which is where my mom's actually from. So.
Nice.
That's pretty funny. Yeah. Anyways, when it comes to like spirituality, I find when you're dealing with angels and like, you know, demons and such, you don't really see like black and white. Really, you actually start to see, at least for me, anyways, you start to see a lot of gray. You know, when you're like dealing with like angels, like for healing, or like demons, like for, you know, like say, forbidden knowledge and such like that. Yeah, but yeah. Anyways, when it comes to like different like rituals and stuff like that, it doesn't matter with like Christian rituals or, you know, like, or even like the more underground like satanic movement and such. Really like the operator who is in charge of ritual, I find, is really the one that doesn't matter who you are. You're pretty much an important figure, as what I find is that your your observance of reality is what gives life towards everything. Like say, like, you know, it could be something like say, even like outside ritual, like if you look at a camera, well, you perceive it as solid, really, but is that all the matter that is created from it is actually a lot more smaller than it is. It's actually mostly empty space. But yet, what keeps you from like dropping the camera or putting your hand through it is really more like a balance between opposing forces, and that's what like keeps everything as it is. I don't know. What do you want to say about that?
No, that's good, man. I think like that gets into like understanding why things are solid within this reality, and for me, like the idea of understanding that emphasizes the fact that it's not always like that, and that's something we experience within our dreams, within like the other states of dimension. That, you know, this body is a quasi-dimensional space traveling vehicle, and we're just the pilot within it. So and realizing that, yeah, like the pilot is like the pilot that we all are, just experiencing ourselves as many pilots, so to speak. But yeah, we only got less than a minute left in the show. I'll just pass it back to you, Jake. Anything else, just real quick, if you want to just say it to the audience, please do.
The only thing I gotta say really is keep doing what you're doing. Doesn't matter how weird you are. Like a few weeks ago, I was watching videos of Paradigm Shift doing stuff like free hug signs and stuff like that. I actually went over to my old high school and started doing that, like holding up a sign, hugging old friends of mine, stuff like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, keep being weird and doing what you need to do. Cool. All right. Well, Jake, thank you so much for calling in. We're gonna just wrap up the show here, and just during the button draw, I did the button draw during our last conversations, and this week's winners for the buttons draw, thanks to, I believe someone's gonna donate. I think Alex might be able to donate. So thanks to Alex for being the contributor for this week. But this week's winner for the buttons draws is Michael Weir. So I'm gonna send a message to him. So congratulations to Michael. Congratulations to everyone. And we're gonna wrap up the show here. So I'm gonna bring on everybody who's been on the show. I'm literally unmuting everyone, and you guys are going to join me in saying farewell to the internet. So everyone, thank you once again. You guys join me in saying farewell to the internet. So bye the internet, everyone, and we'll do the after party hangout.
Bye.
All right.
Guys.
Later. Peace. Peace and love.
All right. Thanks, guys. See you again. One love.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Paradigm Shift Radio. If you would like to connect with people where you are and continue the conversations further, then check out ParadigmShiftCentral.com/buttons to order your supply of shift buttons to share with people to help invite them to this global project while also helping make new friends and building local community where you are. Shift buttons are tools to hack the matrix and tap into the synchronistic nature of reality to accelerate our collective awakening. Enter the promo code PSR into your order to receive additional bonus buttons to your supply. Thank you again, and one love.